The Nigerian man has been playing chess in Times Square.
Tunde Onakoya has broken the record for the longest chess marathon after playing for an unbelievable 60 hours non-stop.
From a dusty barber shop in a Lagos slum to the blinding lights of Times Square, New York, one young man played chess for 60 hours, not for glory, but to fund the dreams of Africa's forgotten children. This is the story of Tunde Onakoya, and it will change how you see potential forever. Tunde was born on October 6, 1994, in Ikorodu, a modest community in Lagos, Nigeria. Life wasn't easy. His family couldn't afford school, but his mother, refusing to let poverty define them, worked as a cleaner at a school just so her son could learn. And in a small barber shop tucked away in the slum, Tunde discovered something that would shape his future: a chessboard, a game of strategy, of thinking ahead, of making the best moves when life gives you no good options.
I grew up in Ikorodu, as a child who had very little exposure and very little understanding of how the world worked. I even had to drop out of school at some point because, we had no money to pay tuition. It was in that time that I found the gift of chess in a barber shop.
Despite the odds, Tunde rose through the ranks. He earned a diploma in computer science, represented his college, and won tournaments. He became one of the top 15 chess players in Nigeria. But Tunde knew that true greatness is not measured by titles, but it's measured by impact. In 2018, he returned, not to compete, but to give back. He founded Chess in Slums Africa, a volunteer-run non-profit to empower kids in slums like Makoko, Majindon, and Oshodi. He didn't just teach chess, he taught reading, critical thinking, and self-belief.
Now, this one baby, mo fẹ́ kí ìkan dé F7. Èwo nínú wọn máa dé F7. Kí ni a máa kọ́ sẹ́nu ẹ̀gọ́ ọkùnrin bẹ́ẹ̀? F7. Now, ibo ni F7 wà?
What if it's too tough?
Gonna push two.
What if you are too young?
That's not true.
What if you can't do it?
That is not true.
What if you are no lodo?
That is not true.
Why? Because
I can do anything I put my mind to.
I believe in you.
Chin up.
Believe in yourself.
Zazu.
Believe in you.
Chin up.
Believe in yourself.
Zazu.
Why? Because
I am a champion.
Why? Because
I am a champion.
Can you be a doctor?
Yes.
Can you be an astronaut?
Yes.
Can you be a lawyer?
Yes.
Can you be a billionaire?
Yes.
Can you be a billionaire?
Yes.
Oh, sister of a billionaire?
Yes.
Chess in Slums Africa is a non-profit organization that uses the game of chess as a tool to bring education, technology, mentorship opportunities to children living in underserved communities. So 7 years ago, I made a decision that I was going to do the same thing for other children like me, who grew up in communities without opportunity, because I believe that talent is universal, but opportunity isn't. So I found a group of people that were willing to believe in this vision, our team, our volunteers, and we started going to these communities. And that was like the birth of the Chess and Slum idea. Eventually started to grow into what has become such a phenomenal, life-changing project for thousands of children across Africa.
One of his students, Ferdinand, a boy with cerebral palsy, didn't just learn chess. He won a tournament, and later he sat face to face with the governor of Lagos.
When we came into the community of Makoko, we wanted to just profile 20 children to work with. And there are a lot of children here, so we couldn't teach all of them at the same time because we didn't have the resources for that. So we wanted to profile just 20 children, and that was the day I saw him. He came around, but the other children in the community kept pushing him back, because of his, disability, and because of that, I saw he felt defeated. He was being mocked by his peers that, Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be there because it was for something that they wanted to teach them. And I looked at the little boy and I just brought him in and I told him to write his name. You know, I had never really taught a differently able child chess before. So I wasn't sure how, you know, it was going to cope with learning, but I still decided to give him a chance, you know, and that is one thing, you know, that is the essence of what we do, giving every child, you know, a chance, irrespective of where they come from or who they are. It was just amazing when we started teaching them. You know, after the first, you know, few classes, amongst all his peers, you know, he was the best. He outperformed every other person. And I was really surprised because he couldn't speak any English word. And I mean, to be able to teach, you need to be able to communicate, you know, with a child. But we're not able to communicate with him, you know, through the English language. But through recognition of patterns, he was able to understand, you know, what the teacher was trying to teach him. And that was all he needed, you know, and began to really display sparks of genius. I mean, I'm a national master. I've taught a lot of children, you know, but what I saw was different, you know, for a child, you know, like Ferdinand. And so I kept monitoring his progress, you know, watching his improvements. And on the day of the tournament, I had high expectations. A lot of the children too, you know, performed exceptionally well. But I knew that, you know, for him to really take this home, he had to give his best performance. And on that day, you know, he showed up, you know, like a true champion, and he played one of the best, he gave one of the best performances, you know, I'd ever seen, you know, for a beginner at the beginner level. Look at Ferdinand's story now. You know, Ferdinand, you know, despite being a child that was being bullied, you know, by other children, you know, became a champion here in this community. And he got to meet the governor of Lagos State, you know, because of that. So, I mean, they see that now, and going forward, they'll be more receptive, you know, towards our program, allow their children, you know, learn, and eventually allow them go to school to get an education. For the tournament in Makoko on the final day, we had a revolutionary idea to do something a bit differently. So we made suits, 3-piece suits for all the children, you know, and about 30 children. And the idea behind that was to give them a new image of themselves, because a lot of people come to places like this, and it is clear that this is one of the poorest places in the world, and they instead just highlight the poverty, you know, without really doing anything, you know, to uplift them. So what we wanted to do was to tell the story from a different perspective. Instead of just highlighting the fact that they are poor, it is clear that they are poor, you know, and wanted to show the best image of these children so they can see themselves, you know, looking good in a suit, and hey, you can grow up to become a lawyer and grow up to become a doctor, and you'd always get to dress like this. And there's a beautiful moment, you know, watching them look, you know, much differently from a child from a slum community would normally look like. So we do those kind of things to give them a life-changing experience, you know, to make them see themselves, you know, differently, not just as slum children, but as children who have the potential to become great in the future.
In April 2024, Tunde stood in Times Square playing chess for 60 hours straight. Why? To raise $1 million for the education of African children. He broke the Guinness World Record, but more importantly, he broke the silence around forgotten children.
8 straight hours, a Nigerian man has been playing chess in Times Square.
He hopes to break a world record and raise money to help lift children out of poverty. News 4's Andrew Siff joins the game.
A small crowd chanting his name to give an exhausted player energy.
Tough, really tough.
For a chess marathon.
We haven't stopped thinking in the last 25 hours.
That's Sean Martinez of Brooklyn. Across the board for more than a day now from Tunde Onakoya of Nigeria. How many moves ahead do you think?
I think I can go as far as 10.
Their gambit, live streamed more than 5,000 miles across the continents.
The support back home in Nigeria has been massive.
Go Tunde, go Tunde, go! Go Tunde, go Tunde, go!
Support poured in from around the world. People like Davido, Adekunle, Gold, and even Nigeria's leaders supported him. But Tunde wasn't the hero of the story. The kids that he was supporting were the dreamers and the next generation. In his own words, chess gave me something. It gave me an identity. It made me believe I could be a thinker, that I could find my place in the world again. That's what Tunde sees in every child he teaches, not just a player, a genius waiting to be unlocked. Yeah, so what can we learn from his story? And number one is that it doesn't matter what you have. Even if it's a chessboard, you can start with it. You can start making impact or changing people's life with the little that you have, whatever talent that you have, whatever skill that you have. You can use that to impact people's life, because there are a lot of people who don't have what you have. The little that you think it is little, or whatever it is that you think it is little, someone doesn't have that, and they would do whatever it takes to get that. So if you have that gratitude and extend that grace to others. And that is what he has done. For somebody showing him what the chessboard was and teaching him how to play, and he going ahead to learn it and, compete in school, and the impact it had on his life. And now he extending that grace to other children is amazing. Now, I didn't know him. I didn't know about him at first. I have this vision or this mission that I love music, and I feel like there's something I have to do in the music industry. And I love to play drums, but I've never had the opportunity to play drums. I love, these drums and instruments, the whole combination, how music is being made. I just like it, because I feel music is just magic. How you're able to combine all these different sounds to create something so harmonious and, beautiful for you to hear is amazing to me. And I love that, but I've never had that opportunity to learn it in order to, use it in any way. And I'm not giving that up on that dream, but I have this mission that I'm going to bring kids together to build an orchestra. You understand? I might not have the skill, but someone might have it, and I'll bring people who can teach them and bring the kids together, and we build a beautiful orchestra. And one day we get to play beautiful music, because from looking at what he has done here, every time he meets someone and starts, the training program, he realizes that the person has something, a beautiful gift. The person is a genius, but you never know until you meet them, you talk to them, you try to train them, and you discover it, and then you help them along the way. And I feel a lot of kids have beautiful talents and amazing minds and ideas that we can, tap into and help them to build that intent, help all of us. Okay, so that is the lesson. Number one, that is, it doesn't matter whatever you have. Don't look down on what you have, because they said that it is easier to give a dime out of $1 than to give 10,000 out of 1,000,000. So it doesn't matter. You can start small with whatever you have, even if it is a chess board. Now, number two, your background doesn't matter. Wherever you come from, it doesn't matter. You can still make impact. As a matter of fact, if you are coming from an environment where, people can relate to you, they know the story, or even you, if you are coming from such an environment and you've come to, for some, reason, you've been able to break out. When you see them, you can feel their pain because you've been there. And that is that is good thing. That is a good thing. For you coming from an environment where there isn't much to go about, like there is no opportunity and all those things, that is a good thing, because then when you see people going through pain, you can empathize with them because you know how it feels like. You've been there before. So it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your background, whatever you've been through, you can still make an impact, because these are the kind of stories, because if you've been there and you are talking, you will know and they can relate to your story, and then you will be able to understand what their pain or whatever pain they are going through and find a way to help them, like you have been able to get the opportunity to help yourself. You understand? And now the last point is going to be that real success comes from lifting others. Success in life is, greatness too. If you want to become great, you have to serve, you have to lift others. We become great by lifting others. That is the real success in life. for you to get to a point where you realize that it is not just you. People say it is lonely at the top because they go alone. If you don't want to be alone at the top, then when you're going, go with your people. And that is what he is doing. And now when he's up there and he sees all these kids graduating from school and changing their lives, he'll be happy within his soul. He'll have peace because he has realized that with the little he has, or he has been able to make an impact, just leading the way. And there are a lot of people who want to help, but for some people, they don't want to step up. And if you have that courage to step up to be the one leading the cause, there are people who are willing to support you. And that is why, for me, the moment I heard about, because it was one of my bosses who introduced him to me and told me that when I said I wanted to do something in music, he told me that then I should look at this guy because he's changing kids' life with chess. And when I went to look him up on Instagram and I watched the videos, I followed him. I always share his video on my story and I have so many of his videos on my phone because this is something I want to do. And with the channel going, I hope that one day we get the opportunity to sit down with him to talk about what his mentality and things that he can share with us. And I hope that one day I get that opportunity to sit with him and talk to him. You understand? Because he's somebody that I admire so much with the impact. Because for me, the kind of life that I have chosen to live is to serve. And if I see somebody doing something like that, it makes me happy and I want to do the same thing. You understand? So from now, this is what we are going to talk about. The good stuff that people are doing, the little impact Africans are doing in our societies. We are going to promote it, and hopefully one day this also helps, find ways that we can personally also contribute to that. Okay, so these are the lessons that we can learn. So if you are there and you don't know him, I'm going to share his handles on the screen so that you follow him and support him. You understand? You support him, and then you also find a way, any little way that you can do to support or to make an impact in your community. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that this video gives you that value. And don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it to others, and let's support Africa, the growth of Africa. And we must understand that the job to changing the future of Africa is very big, and it will require all of us, our efforts to do that. So he is one of the people that are making change. And these are the ways that we can, if we are going to brag about anything, we should brag about the number of lives we've been able to change. And that is the real success and the real, essence of life, to serve. Okay, so thank you once again. God bless you all for watching, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I don't